Hello again guys, this is Matt, David and Ali, and once again a big thank you for choosing to get your gaming news here at Livewire. This will be a special Q&A video for our For Honor series, and we can't wait to answer all your questions. For Honor is a game that we are very excited for here on Livewire, and it's great to see that you guys are looking forward to it just as much as us. If we don't get round to answering all of your questions, don't worry, because we will get round to replying to your comments as soon as possible. And if we butcher your names in the video, we can only apologise as well. Last thing then, before we jump straight into it, some answers may spoil different parts of the story campaign, so if you want to avoid them, click away now. Alright then, let's get right to it.
So we'll kick off the Q&A with a nice simple question from Justin, who wants to know the release date for Honor. And Justin, as long as there aren't any reasons that crop up during the beta testing that delay the game, the developers are aiming for a Valentine's Day 2017 release date. This might seem like ages away if you're excited to play the game, but remember we'll likely get our hands on the game much sooner with rigorous closed and open beta testing.
This leads us on perfectly to the next question coming from Amy Flem. They ask us how they access the beta for Honor and how do they get the beta key. Well, you can sign up for the beta on the For Honor official website by clicking the register option at the left hand menu on the screen. It prompts you to log into or create your Uplay account. After doing so, you can sign up for the beta. Now, where the confusion may start is that you won't automatically have access to the For Honor beta or alpha. This is simply because it isn't live yet. When the beta does go live, which is rumoured to be in August, that's when to check your email boxes.
The next question comes in from Imperial Knight. Thanks for calling us magnificent, by the way, you're the real MVP. They ask if the factions have a separate story or if there is a crossover in the campaign. Well, it was revealed to us that in E3 there will only be one campaign that focuses on the war between the three factions and their war against Apollyon, and that the online war we fight comes into play after the campaign. All of the three factions though will be represented in the campaign and will each have their own struggles to overcome. The way the campaign works is we will play as different factions in the campaign in different segments. So first of all we play through the Knights portion of the campaign, and then we complete their story and move on to the Warborn, and then finally the Samurai.
Next up we have two similar questions, so we're going to put them together. They come from Spartan Pikachu and Bennett the YOLO, and essentially asks if we think the Warborn betrays the Knights and joins Apollyon's side, and why do we think that they've done that? And well, from the brief gameplay it would certainly seem that our Warden hero does in fact join the Blackstone Legion, led by Apollyon. And in fact the man who knights us at the end of the mission is actually Apollyon's right hand man. To answer why our hero might be doing this is because the Knights faction aren't exactly one group. There are a number of different lords to fight for, and our hero wants purpose and to fight for something worthy of our skill. It could also be said that given this is the start of the campaign, we might not be fully aware of the evil of the Blackstone Legion, so we might betray them later in the campaign. You guys can let us know your theories on this in the comment section, but yes, it certainly would appear that a large chunk of Knight's story will be fought on the side of Apollyon.
Chewy Sauce gives us some great theory crafting as part of their question that is well worth a good read. Where you mention that these faction leaders seem to go up in rank though, I would have to disagree, because bearing in mind this conflict has lasted 1,000 years, it would seem that a segment of the trailer is just trying to show that. So rather than going up in status, it just shows the evolution of the technology and armor the factions use. These three characters in the trailer are just meant to represent the different factions, so it isn't really worth looking into much. As for the leaders of the three factions, this is also not clear to us as of yet. Our Warden is just your run-of-the-mill mercenary that gets knighted at the start of the campaign, and our Kanzal in the story is well respected and legendary, but serves the chosen emperor. But it would seem that our Warborn raider has a leadership role at least in the Warborn raids, and it is actually us who unites the different Warborn tribes.
For your actual question though, if we think we will kill our characters in the campaign, I'd think it unlikely, but highly possible for sure. We don't actually kill our Kensai hero in the campaign as the Warborn. That is a Kensai commander who is legendary among his people, just like our warrior for the Chosen. But as this takes place before the Chosen segment of the campaign, I doubt it's us, unless they make all the campaigns run at the same timeline. Absolutely love the theory though.
Okay, so Bennett the YOLO again asks this time if there will be multiple classes for each faction. Although nothing is confirmed yet for online classes, it would seem highly likely that there will be different classes available for different factions online. In the game, the Warborn were first shown with a round shield and sword, like you say, but in campaign footage they have this big massive long axe, so it would certainly seem like the Warborn faction have different options online. We also have two different named samurai warrior types, unless they've just changed the first class from Oni to Kensai.
Spartan Pikachu asks if the knights can wield shields, and it's a similar answer. There's nothing confirmed as of yet. The developers have stated though that the wardens will always use a longsword, but that doesn't mean that there won't be other knight classes, so fingers crossed for Knights of Shields.
Tony asks if warriors from the same class can have different health or different damage. Well, where warriors of the same class will likely deal the same damage and have the same health pool, perhaps there will again be different classes per faction that vary in health and damage output. The only way in game where health and damage can vary is by using your special abilities online, or by using feats that grant more damage or health for a short time.
Purple Goblin asks if each of the factions will have predominantly light units while another faction has predominantly heavy units, like the knights who are bulky and slow to the samurai who are light and agile. Well, again, this will come down to whether there will be different classes per faction, and we highly expect there to be. So if that was the case, you could certainly see different armoured samurai, knights or warborn that would grant different levels of speed or defence. Interestingly, in the campaign you can actually see this because some of the samurai warriors you come up against in the warborn mission are slow and heavy hitting, like the commander at the end, while some are more like traditional samurai we have seen from the online gameplay and trailers.
Oceanair39 asks us if we will see mythical bosses in the game like a sea serpent against a Viking longship for instance, and we would absolutely love this! But unfortunately the developers have confirmed that we will only be fighting humans in the game. There are no fantastical monsters, I'm afraid. The reason they gave for this is that they are aiming for a realistic, authentic feeling game even though it is in medieval fantasy. Which is total bullshit.
Next up we have Sergeant Chaos asking what players might be able to customise in game. Well, we know so far that they are aiming to achieve a good level of customisation. We know from the goodies that we can receive from the different editions from the game that there will be helmet customisation, as well as armour colour and armour design customisation. We will also have different character emblems that may in fact be added to your character and not just as a portrait emblem. As for weapons, we know that we cannot change the weapon type that our class uses, however it is likely that we will have different weapon designs, such as different hilts for our swords or shapes and skins for our other weapons.
William asks how many different weapon types there are and if bows and spears will be in the game. Well, we don't have a set number of weapons that will make it into the game, but we know that shields and of course swords will make it in, as well as the Vikings long axe, samurai katana and other weapons like mallets and hammers will make it into at least the campaign. But it would be great for us to use them online as well. As for the bows and spears, it's certainly possible, but I do think the bow is less likely because of this art of battle system that they've been trying to implement. That kind of focuses on outsmarting the enemy of the melee duel, and just to fire an arrow at them doesn't really make sense.
Dark Spirit 2000 asks whether there will be Destructible Environment in game. Well, we know that environment looks to be playing a big part in For Honor. We can shove enemies into fires, kick them off walls, impale them on spikes, and probably much more. We see in the campaign for the knights during the first mission, we destroy a trebuchet that falls onto the enemy at the gates. So it is highly likely that we will see more of this, perhaps online as well. But we hope there are a lot more options like the trebuchet in the campaign.
Next up, a question from Mark 2-star, asking if there will be any RPG elements in multiplayer, like leveling up and gaining new skills. As for the majority of online-based competitive multiplayer, you can certainly expect there to be some sort of leveling system or rank. Whether this allows you to unlock new skills or perks as you level up though, remains to be seen. Leveling up may grant you new skills or the availability to equip more skills at once, or it may just give you cosmetic unlocks.
A question from Randall Long asks what taunts we can do in the game. Well, I'm afraid Randall, we know as much as you for that one, as there hasn't been any footage showing any taunts you can do from the development, but I'm sure taunts will definitely be a nice feature in the game. We see it so often in all these new games that come out. You've got like the dancing, you've got all the different emoticons you can do. They put it in the game The Division as well, so most likely going to probably see something like that in For Honor.
Akujuo asks about the combat in the game and whether you will have to keep holding L2 to lock on to the target. This confused us as well, having not played the game, obviously, and it wasn't explained clear enough at E3. We would assume that just pressing L2 once would lock onto the target for the Art of Battle mode. However, to block we have to use L2 and the right stick at the same time, and to attack we had to use L2 and R1 or R2 depending on the strength of our attack. so it would seem like we have to keep holding L2, which is an odd decision, and ironically is exactly just like FIFA.
Greek Fist, yeah, I'm just going to call you Greek, asks what benefits the Season Pass holders will get. And although there is no news regarding the Season Pass yet, we will be absolutely sure to make a video on the channel for it when the information is released. Let us know in the comments what you'd like to see. For us, we'd like there to be online benefits, perhaps monthly emblems or cosmetic skins for our weapons and armour. Perhaps bonus missions in the campaign as well. In future patches of the game, the devs may release new content such as maps, classes, or even new factions, that the Season Pass holders could get a hold of a little earlier than those without it. Just like in Rainbow Six Siege, where Season Pass holders get access to the new operators before everyone else.
This brings us to the last question in the Q&A, guys. This one has the honour of going to Greg again, asking whether there will be DLC factions. And sorry to disappoint, but the devs aren't up for revealing any plans for that at the minute. During the live E3 interview on Twitch, they did tease that there might be new factions in the future, but for now they're focusing on the Warborn, the Knights and the Chosen. We're actually working on a video regarding the possible DLC factions we could see in For Honor, so look out for that one and let us know in the comments of all your ideas for potential DLC factions. Who knows, your idea might even make it into the video if you comment on time.
Thank you once again for your continued support for the channel. We'd love to hear it and answer all your great questions. As always then, hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, it really helps us out. And if you aren't a subscriber yet and you don't want to miss any of that For Honor news or news for other up and coming games, then hit that sub button as well.
Until next time then, you can click on our faces to get to know us a little better. Catch up with our For Honor series by clicking here, or for all our Ghost Recon Wildlands news you can click here to watch that series.